There has been something that God has kept telling me, right? And I want to share it. It's very important for this age of like social media, and everybody has a voice and everybody has an opinion. Um, and with it brings like a lot of ego and pride. And I'll be the first to tell you, like, uh, you have to slay like your ego and pride regularly, like especially if you're a man. And it doesn't always feel good. You have to take into account, there's times where I will respond probably harsher than I should have, and it's probably born of the circumstances of the day, just like everybody else. Uh, but you have to have some accountability for that, and you have to, you know, within yourself, be able to see what caused that, and ask God to really show you like how you can address that and fix that. So I want to talk to you guys about, speaking truth, right? And the spirit of offense. Okay. So I'm going to go backwards and we're going to start with the spirit of offense. Okay. This thing is like a flea that jumps from person to person. All right. You become offended. You therefore offend somebody. They become offended. They therefore offend somebody else. Like it is just this little flea that just hop, 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 until it runs into somebody that slays that with love and grace. And trust me, like I have spread that myself. So like there's no judgment there. I just want to shed some light on it so we can understand what's going on in the moment and realize that that's just a spirit of offense. That's not necessarily the person, right? And when we therefore throw that same offense back and forth, right? Things escalate, right? Things get out of hand. And it's really the enemy just trying to step into your day. So the way that God showed me, you start your day with gratitude, praise, worship, right? At least I do, and I hope you do. And you take that first step with God, you give him that first part of the day, right? And then he directs that second step and that third step, and you're really walking in purpose. And the spirit of offense tries to slide in there between your steps and distract you, get you upset, get you in your feelings where your head's running laps, right? Like, how dare they say this to me? And oh, my character should speak for itself or whatever. That more on the devil's in your ear whispering, you know. And we've all got caught in this trap. Like, I can't think of one person I know that can't relate to this, whether they admit it or not. You have to train yourself to be able to shed that. And step one is identifying that that's what's happening, right? And it'd be people that like are seemingly nice or people that are close to you that never act that way or whatever. And it really should be a telltale sign that you're walking in purpose when the enemy starts throwing these things at you. Okay. And the spirit of offense is really aimed at swaying, controlling, and manipulating. And this is how it does. Okay. Like we live in a world where people have such soft feelings and we need safe spaces and all these things because of this spirit of offense. And what it does is it makes bold people with purpose, feel like they have to walk on eggshells because they don't want to offend people. The truth is the truth, right? Speak the truth, no matter who it offends. We have to be willing to do what God tells us to do, regardless of consequence, regardless of, if somebody can't take correction with wisdom, wants to, you know, twist it and turn it into something nefarious, right? Like this is that spirit of offense. And when it can't get to you, trust me, the slander is going to happen, the things, the lies, et cetera, et cetera. Like that should be your major sign that you are a threat to the enemy. All right. Like if you're walking with Christ and you're being bold, you're sharing the gospel, the enemy is going to come at you. And it's not just strangers, it's loved ones. I have lost more people that I truly loved in the last 2 years than any time in my entire life. And they didn't die. You know what I mean? They showed this, this long-term spirit of whatever it was, whatever jealousy, malice, betrayal, etc. And you got to be able to pick up and just keep pushing with God. Like you got to be willing for Him to usher the wrong people out and usher the right people in and not try and hold on to something that's not good for you. That's how I can tell you the three people that hurt the worst I tried to hold on to, and God made them hurt me so terribly that I let go and would never in my life allow them back into my life. And it's because I held on. He had told me to let it go, right? But the spirit of offense, when you speak truth and then somebody like very loudly, or you know what I mean? And they probably speak eloquent. You know what I mean? What they say can be compelling where you have to question yourself and your motives in it. Don't shrink back from that. Don't not speak truth because you're afraid of how people are going to judge you, they're going to react. And the enemy will always send somebody, you know what I mean, that will just go trash your name. That's fine. I'm telling you, it is so fine. Encourage it. I promise. Like, I so mean what I say right now that I literally have to put a disclaimer here. Like, if you have some issue with me, don't hold it back. Go tell everybody. Please. Please tell everybody. And this is why. And this is why you should never be afraid to speak the truth. All right. Because if you're walking in God's purpose, He's got stuff for you. He's got jobs for you to do, people to reach. You know what I mean? And there is just destiny in there, right? There's just a lot of wonderful, beautiful things that He's got in store for you. And God will literally use your enemies to put a magnifying glass on you. And as they're out telling a bunch of people whatever lie that they got about you, and they're going to get some people to believe it. You got to be okay with that. They're going to get some people to believe it that actually hurt, right? Most of them, you're just going to be like, who cares? But they're going to get a couple people, and you're going to be like, wow, like I thought you knew my character better than that. You got to push on from that because eventually they're going to tell somebody tied to your destiny. And that person, instead of just swallowing that lie, hook, line, and sinker, this malice, this ugliness about you, right? They're going to look into you, right? They're going to take a closer look, and God's going to show their heart who you are. Your enemy will literally build your destiny. And if you don't think that's biblical or accurate, let me tell you something. God didn't make David to slay Goliath. God didn't look at Goliath as a problem and then, oh, I'm going to make a solution in David. No, God loved David. He predestined purpose for his life. He made Goliath as that enemy that drew everybody's attention to David. Because remember, nobody wanted to fight Goliath. Everybody told David he couldn't beat Goliath. David told everybody how big his God was, stood in the truth that he knew, stood in front of this giant, spoke that truth to that giant, and told him that he was going to kill him and give his body to the birds, right? And then went and did it. And later, after Saul died and like David put the crown on, he was already a hero. You know what I mean? Like God used Goliath to get everybody's attention on him. And I'm sure there's some people that didn't like him after that. Oh, he got lucky, or you know what I mean? Or I can only imagine, right? None of that mattered. That enemy that was sitting there belittling David in front of, 40,000 Israelites ready for war. Put all that pressure and all that attention on David. And the people that mattered later, when it was time for him to wear the crown, were nobody tried to stop it, right? Everybody's like they supported him, and he was the greatest king in God's kingdom, right? So great that Jesus ended up being born out of his lineage. That was that everlasting kingdom, that everlasting throne that God had promised David for his obedience, for the trueness of his heart. We live in a world now where when you speak truth, people will try to silence you. If they can't silence you, they will try to distract you. And when you shrug them off, all right, they're just going to go lie about you. You have to be okay with that. You have to be so rooted in knowing that we don't just talk about the God we serve. We know the God we serve. We know what he will do. And he might let us hang out there for a little bit and take some bumps and bruises and some slanders. It all builds your character. And he will make you evidence that we serve a just God. He will vindicate you. Just give it to him. Let him do it. So I promise you, like, if you have made yourself my enemy, tell everybody, please, 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 please do. Because you're going to end up telling the right person that wants to reach out and partner and go do something great for the kingdom of God. So just like Joseph, like he told his brothers, like what you intended for evil, God used for good. That's the God that we serve. That's the God that is going to vindicate you. That is the God that is going to put you higher when you speak truth so you can be heard by more, right? And the nice thing is like when you're rooted in God, there's nothing anybody can threat, right? Like people get so wrapped up in their image or their platform or their ministry. None of it's yours anyways. It all belongs to God. You know what I mean? Like if God ever took this from me, right? Like I'm okay with that. I didn't want to do this to begin with, and I like it now. So, um, but if this ever got taken from me, I would just be waiting in expectation for the next thing, right? Like I don't do this for money. I I sure don't do it for notoriety or anything of the sort. Like I want people to see the truth in this like era of deception that we live in. You know what I mean? Like, man, there's fake news. You gotta read 30 news reports on the same thing, and then still not one of them just depicts it accurately. You have to sift through it. Like that's where we live at now, where people just want money, right? Like our food, half of it's poison because it's cheaper to make it that way, or they make more money. Like uh news, like they they sell smear campaigns and uh, just gossip and trash because it evokes an emotional response and people get hooked to that, right? Like they want to hear that gossip, 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 gossip. Like this is the time that we live in, right? And we live in an era of huge egos that are so fragile that when somebody says something different than them or, you know, corrects them, even in a loving way, they can't take it. And their ego get so wounded that that they they have to hurt people, right? Like, and it's not their fault. This is listen, society has been built by the enemy over the last 15, 20 years to be this way. It wasn't that way before. And social media has just put like punched the warp speed button on it, right? So information comes in faster than people can really think about it wisely and wrap their heads around it and absorb it and weigh it to see what's true and what's not. It's like even politicians and famous people, like they just change the news cycle, right? Like if they're in it and it's bad, they will generate something else that's unrelated. And you just jump from one to the other and never actually weigh the first part that you heard, right? And we just start to let it indoctrinate us and we just accept it as truth. That spirit of offense is the guiding spirit to that, right? People will hear something and not even have time to consider it and then just go ahead and regurgitate it and repeat it as if it was the truth to begin with. You're going to have some strong faith and some thick skin. You're going to have to really be rooted in your identity and know who you are in Christ, know who Christ says you are, all right? And know that your intentions are pure, right? And you have to weigh that in yourself. That's accountability. That's taking a self inventory. And I tell you what, if you're walking close with God, like that's not optional. It is absolutely mandatory. He will do it. He will convict you of things. I did a video talking about like, dating and picking people. And that is the importance of picking somebody that is submitted to Christ, because even if they mistreat you, and listen, everybody's going to disappoint you. You know, we all think that good people don't make mistakes. That's so far from the truth. Everybody's going to disappoint you. The difference is if you're riding with somebody that's submitted to Christ, Christ will convict their heart like, hey, you need to go back and apologize. You need to make that right. You need to correct that behavior. Um, if you have that, right? If you're actively in that and somebody says something about you that's not true, stop defending yourself. They have literally got that spirit of offense on you that makes you want to defend yourself. And now that that spirit's on you, you have to slay it so you don't pass it back or pass it to somebody else. That's it. Be okay with letting people believe whatever they want to believe. That's fine. God will show your character. Your character will defend itself. It doesn't require an explanation or your own defense. God will send somebody to defend you and say everything you wanted to say anyways, really. Maybe not every time, but I've seen it, and I've also swung in and been able to word things because I wasn't emotionally attached, and stop somebody from verbally attacking somebody else when they were just spitting like vitriol for no reason. So let God defend you. Speak truth. And when somebody has clearly tried to offend you, don't be offended, or at least don't try to offend them in return. And if you have to just disconnect. Not everything needs a response. Like I've had people lie about me and do terrible things that I was close with twice in the last like 4 years, ministry groups, and I just disconnected. Like I don't owe an explanation. I don't need to give them closure. They know what they did. I know what they did, and there's power in that, right? Like let them say whatever they want. You know what I mean? God's got you, and if God's got you, let Him bring people in and out of your life as He sees fit, and just ride out like your faith and watch what He does. I mean, I've never had better people in my life than I do right now. I have people in my life that are submitted to Christ, people in my life that I trust to correct me if I'm in the wrong, and I will not be offended by it. Like, you know what I mean? And that happened because God removed some bad people from my life. Don't let your position, your ministry, your platform, don't let anything, the grip on what it is and the love for it, stop you from speaking truth and doing what you're supposed to do in God. Because that becomes a weapon the enemy uses. And, anytime you try to step out and do something that God told you to do, there's going to be a threat that comes to that. And you have to choose whether to serve God or to hold on to what you have. Let go of that. If God's asking you to let go and go do something in faith, He's got something better, anyways. So I know this one was all over the place. Um, Something He gave me a few days ago, and I got, a reminder today, right? I had actually had something different that I was going to talk about, but a little all over the place, but all stuff that God gave me, all stuff that I've used and like I see fruit from. Speak your truth. Serve God no matter what the perceived consequence that somebody wants to lay on you. It's all just a pump fake. It's a threat. It's all a distraction and designed to get you back into this needle groove on a record and running in circles instead of like walking out your purpose. So that's what I got. God bless y'all. And yeah, Rubber City Revival, 2 days. Um, get out there. Trust me. You won't regret it if you go. You might regret it if you don't. Love you guys.